Let's take a look at how e-commerce works from the perspective of the life cycle of a purchase made on an online store. In our first step, a business owner builds an e-commerce site using the skills we cover in this course. Then, a visitor searches online for an item and lands on the business owner's site. The visitor looks at all of the product descriptions as well as maybe some of the other characteristics of the site, like how it feels and if it feels trustworthy for making a purchase. They decide to add the item to their cart, at which point they receive a notice that the item has been added to their cart, and they could either view their cart, check out, or continue shopping. A good online store will engage the user and encourage them to add more things to their cart. Once the visitor decides to check out, they will go to their cart where they could see a list of the items that are ready to be purchased. Depending on the e-commerce site, the visitor may be able to add things like coupon codes, view shipping options, see tax costs, as well as other helpful information about their purchases. The primary button on a cart page is the Checkout button, which takes you to the checkout page where the user traditionally enters things like the shipping and billing and payment information. Checkout pages may have options to log into existing accounts to autofill checkout information or create a new account so that custom information is remembered for future purchases. Once the visitor enters in all the required information, they press the Pay button. At this point, one of two things may happen. In one scenario, the visitor is taken to a final checkout page with a third-party payment service like PayPal, for instance. The user would complete the payment process on this third-party site and then be sent back to the business owner's site once the process is complete. In the other scenario, the user would enter all of the payment information on the business owner's site, like credit card information, for example, and then when the visitor clicks Pay, a behind-the-scenes action would take place where the payment information was sent to a third-party service that would verify the payment, accept the payment, and then notify the business owner's site the transaction went through. In this scenario, the user would never know that this behind-the-scene action was taking place, and it would all seem to be on the business owner's site. Regardless of the approach, once the payment is complete, the visitor is sent to a thank you or confirmation page. This confirmation page likely has a notice that the order went through, a summary of what the visitor purchased, and any additional information about receiving the items purchased, like links to download digital goods or information about shipping. At the same time that this happens, the visitor likely receives a confirmation email, or a series of emails that the order is complete. The business owner may also get a notice that an item has been sold. If the product purchased involves shipping, then there's still another step where the business owner must ship out the item to the customer and then go back to the website and update that the order has been shipped, at which point the customer should receive an email notification. Once the product gets delivered to the customer may get a follow-up email asking them to review the product on the site. This opens up the possibility for additional purchases or at least to a more engaged customer. At some point during the checkout process, business owners may have asked customers if they would like to receive future updates via email. Running effective email marketing campaigns targeted to specific groups of customers can be a valuable way to increase more purchases on your site. If an online store offers returns, that presents another post-purchase scenario where the customer would have to ship back the product, then the business owner would have to issue the refund, either through the website or possibly through a third-party website, depending on how that customer paid. You could see from all of this that the e-commerce process involves more than just adding a Buy Now button to your website. Throughout this course, we'll go over all of these different steps in more detail as it pertains to WordPress and WooCommerce. We'll also look at a few important e-commerce components that weren't mentioned in this big picture. However, what we will look at next are some of the different options we have for building e-commerce sites with WordPress.